Hello, faith-driven entrepreneurs. Several years ago, I started an educational organization called Denver Institute for Faith and Work. In the past 5 years, we've hosted at our events thousands of doctors and business leaders and entrepreneurs and lawyers and professionals. But a couple of years ago, I started to ask a tough question. Where are the home healthcare workers and the retail salespeople and landscapers and janitors and truck drivers? I saw professionals every day, but the working class, which is nearly 2/3 of our workforce, was almost completely absent. What was I missing? When I started to investigate why this was the case, I discovered something kind of unsettling. In America, there are two different worlds and two different workplaces, one for professionals and one for the working class. In the past 50 years, a divide has been growing. For professionals with college degrees, we've seen incomes rise and families stay together, increased educational attainment. But for our working class communities, real wages have declined. Most children are raised in single-parent households, and addiction to opioids and drugs has skyrocketed. Life has even gotten harder. One person said about their work, God doesn't open one door without slamming your fingers in another. I realized that in my work, I'd become relationally segregated from the working class, and that much of my work was not speaking to the majority of the workforce. So I have a question for you today. As a faith-driven entrepreneur, how much do you really know about low-wage workers or the frontline workers, maybe in your own company? Maybe a better question is this: what needs to change for us to really understand the other 2/3 of the workforce? Though I myself am just beginning on this journey, I've learned 3 things from my working class neighbors. Here's number 1. We have to start noticing the work of the working class and start listening to the worker. Fast food employees, electricians, mechanics, so much of our world is built and preserved by the working class, but do we stop to notice and appreciate the work of those that we depend on every day? Or do we take them for granted? Do we really understand what motivates our lower income coworkers in our communities and in our companies? One man once told me about his work, you professionals, you write a paper or something, but if I make a concrete wall, unless somebody knocks it over in 100 years, it'll be there. He was looking for somebody to notice his good work. I think faith-driven entrepreneurs can lead the way in noticing and listening to the working class. One practice I found particularly powerful is this: when somebody serves you, like waiters or security guards or hotel housekeeping staff, look them in the eye and tell them, thank you for your work. Do that real quick. Thank you for your work. It affirms the dignity that is their due as God's image bearers made in the image of a maker. And here's the second: emphasize the fall with the powerful and creation with the vulnerable. Here's what I mean. In the Faith and Work movement, we've emphasized Genesis 1 and the goodness of work with professionals as entrepreneurs. That work is good and it's a calling. Yet one working class pastor in Arizona, he challenged me on this. He said, often professionals who usually enjoy their jobs already believe this, and Genesis 1 almost becomes a proof text for professionals who want affirmation to become even more successful and work even more. He said that transformation happens when we emphasize the fall with the powerful. They start to see that work is tainted with thorns and thistles, and they're often a part of unjust systems, low-wage work, chaotic schedules, maybe even unhealthy work cultures. They start to see themselves as implicated in reforming not only individuals, but systems, oftentimes systems that Christian business owners unreflectively maintain. It's often, on the other side, the working class that gravitates toward Genesis 3, that work is painful, it's toil. Somebody's going to just take advantage of me until I die. But when the vulnerable hear a message that they're created in the image of a creator, it affirms their worth, their dignity, and their creative ability. It raises the heads of those that society has lowered. And quickly, let me give you the third point here: improve job equality. Eduardo Sanchez, he delivered 10 doors for 10 years. And he said this: I worked a dead-end job. There was no room for advancement, opportunities to learn. Putting doors on my back, hauling them up elevators, that is not what I imagined my life would be. Here's the deal. In today's market, there are millions of job openings at retail centers and call centers and home healthcare. But Zainab Tan, MIT business professor, she says this: those jobs oftentimes offer low pay, few benefits, and no career paths. She believes there are millions of bad jobs out there. I believe that the faith-driven entrepreneur is perfectly a place to change this story. Faith-driven entrepreneurs can innovate business models that serve employees just as well as customers and investors, and they can live out Jesus' call to love your neighbor as yourself in your company. God is the God of both entrepreneur and investor, but he is also present in the needs of the working poor in America today. God is the God of the second shift. Thanks for your time.